Thank you for watching Scary Animal Attacks.
Welcome back to Scary Animal Attacks. Today's episode whisks us away to just north of Cairn, to Cooktown, Queensland, Australia. This area is the heart of the primitive area of northern Australia, which has endeavored to preserve this region. The eastern side of the peninsula, known as Cape York, displays stunning jungles with biodiversity that is unimaginable. There are more than a dozen national parks and national forests in this locale, which keeps populations of native animals and plants high and pristine, or as close to it as possible in the modern day. In this area you will find some very curious and old tree species. Trees like the Cycad tree, Geband Palm, and the Darwin Stringy Bark tree. Underneath their canopy you will find the Strangler Fig, which is a parasitic vine-like plant that grows on a larger tree and ends up killing it. And you will find stinging trees, which are similar to North American stinging nettle, but can be the size of a tree. There is also a curious plant known as blackboy trees, which look like palm trees with grass growing on top of them. The animals of this area include the platypus and the echidna, wallabies and kangaroos, emus and cassowaries. There is a mind-boggling array of parrots, parakeets, and cockatoos, among many more, whose brilliant colors complement the lush plant life. There are not a lot of predators here, but there are dingos, as well as smaller marsupial predators like quolls, dunarts, and bandicoots, as well as crocodiles. It is in this Disney-like environment that our episode takes place today. On the evening of Friday, February 24th, 2023, 37-year-old Alister MacPhee was visiting the Bloomfield boat ramp with his canine companion Magic Molly, who was a female Rottweiler. They were best of friends and went everywhere together, with Molly exuberantly wagging her tail the entire time. Down near the river's edge there was a large mud bank. It seemed to beckon to Alister to dip his toes in the murky waters. Who knows what could be lurking beneath the muddy and completely obscured waters, but Alister decided to set up his camera and film him and Molly pressing their luck with a quick swim. There were signs posted all around the area, signs that warned of a significant saltwater crocodile presence in this stretch of the river, signs that anyone venturing into the waters would have to ignore at risk of their own lives. Male saltwater crocodiles have been reported to be over 23 feet long and weigh as much as 2,200 pounds. They are the largest crocodile species, as well as the largest reptiles alive on the planet. They are known to prefer saltwater or brackish waters, which is where fresh and salt water meet. They can live to be 70 years old and feed on everything from crabs and fish to water buffalo, and sometimes humans. As Alister placed his camera on the bank, he turned toward the murky waters. Molly joyously jumped around beside him in anticipation of the two having fun in the water. Alister had already taken off his clothes and was wearing a swimsuit and carefully navigated his way across the slipper mud toward the edge of the river. As he dipped his toes in the water, he looked around to see if he could see anything concerning or threatening. His boldness was apparently wearing off a bit, but his foolhardiness won out. He waded in, first ankle deep, then a little deeper, and soon was into just about knee deep. There was no doubt in his mind that a creature as large and as powerful as a saltwater crocodile would not be able to approach him in this shallow of water without making it very obvious to him. Boy, was he in for a surprise. Just as the water lapped below his knees, Molly anxiously barked and stared into the water. She was clearly trying to alert him to something he was unaware of, but Alister probably thought she was just excited. Suddenly, an enormous saltwater crocodile burst from the muddy water and clamped its giant jaws onto his lower right leg, just below his knee. He quickly turned to his left to escape, as its teeth dug into his flesh, but the giant reptile was much too fast from this range, and he was pulled toward the water. As the croc's peg-like teeth tore their path through Alister's flesh, Molly ran into the mix, putting herself in the middle of the maelstrom. The croc immediately let go of Alister in exchange for Molly. She yelped in pain as the massive jaws clamped onto her body and she was pulled into the water. Alister, probably powered more by adrenaline than anything else, quickly jumped onto the crocodile and began hitting it with his fist. He punched the croc several times in the head before his reason directed him back toward the shore and safety. He watched as Molly helplessly disappeared beneath the muddy froth just a few feet from the bank he now stood upon. Alister briefly put his hands on his hips as if puzzled by what he should do next. It was a matter of seconds before the pain of Molly's death and the damage done to his right lower leg set in. He limped his way back up the shore and toward the safety of the dock. The pain from the gash in his leg made by the croc's attack began to cripple him, and he laid on the dock near the shore, hoping someone would come by soon and help him. A ranger from the Jabalbina Yalanji Tribal Corporation soon arrived at the location. They loaded Alister up and took him to the Wujal Clinic, and he was eventually flown to Cairns Hospital, where his condition was stabilized. Officials sent out a hunting party to locate the crocodile and make sure he didn't try this again. They eventually found the croc only about 200 meters from the original attack site on the following Thursday. Marksmen were sent out and were charged with the task of hitting the brainstem of the croc, which is covered with leather-like armor and is only the size of a 50-cent piece. On top of that, they have to shoot it from a moving watercraft. The hunt teams consist of spotters and pointers armed with flashlights, risking their lives in the dark, in the murky water to find the croc. This task isn't easy, but the well-trained professionals drove home a .762 bullet fired from a .308 rifle to put an end to the croc's life. It was estimated to be 40 years old and was 4.2 meters long, or just shy of 14 feet. They buried the croc near the river, stating that he was from there and he should rest there. While performing a necropsy on the crocodile, the wildlife officials recovered Magic Molly's remains from its gut. It consumed her whole and was in the process of digesting her when it was shot. Alister heaped praises upon the staff at the clinic and the hospital, as well as Magic Molly, stating that he had learned the hard way that everyone needs to be croc-wise in croc country. He also requested people respect his privacy and refused to discuss the attack. Alister and Molly's attack was the first by a crocodile in the province since May of 2022, when a man was injured while swimming. Critics of the preservation of crocs claim that the policy indicates not a love for crocs but a contempt for human life, claiming policymakers simply hate people. The local Aboriginal tribe as well as animal rights activists sought to have charges filed against Alister, claiming he had put their community and the crocs in a perilous situation with his irresponsible behavior. They say that now the rest of the croc population will become more violent due to the removal of the large croc that sat atop the pecking order. Either way you look at it, I see it as an unforeseen but easily prevented dilemma. Going into waters that crocs are known to inhabit when the water is muddy and visibility is nearly zero, with an animal that has to react quickly to get enough food for survival, is a reckless act. After reviewing the details of this episode, I'm wondering, do you think the crocodile was stalking the man and his dog? Do you think it was an attack that was based on reaction more than the croc deliberately hunting a human? Do you think that Alister should face criminal charges for his behavior? I am interested in reading your thoughts, so post your comments below and let's talk about it.
Thank you for watching Scary Animal Attacks. If you like this video, please consider hitting that like button and clicking on the bell icon to keep you notified of our latest video releases. Sharing our video links on your social media might help save a life and spread the fun. As a member of our human network, be careful out there, because you don't want to end up on an episode of Scary Animal Attacks.